Hi guys, Ann here, and today we have a two-part vlog. Right now we have a sit-down, kind of like a car vlog, kind of like a coffee talk, and then part two will be like a walk and talk. I'm going to go to the nature trail. I haven't been there for a while, and we're going to just walk and talk. Now, this may not be a video that you may want to see because I'm a little upset. I'm a little angry. This is angry Ann. Well, not angry, kind of like disappointed. But before I even start talking about what I want to talk about, I am at Wendy's because I've been ripping and running all this morning. So I did get me a salad. It's my chicken Parmesan Caesar salad. It's basically just grilled chicken and lettuce. And then I always get, where you be? I do not like croutons. Oh, look, now they have like it crumbled. It's called crumbled croutons instead of the big ones. I don't know. My daughter, Lexi, loves croutons. I do not. But I always get just one pack of their Caesar dressing. If you have not tried Wendy's Caesar dressings, a lot of times, if I know I'm on my way home, I'll ask for two, and then I put it in the refrigerator for like my own homemade salads. I love this dressing, but I only use like very, very little, like just maybe about this much. I don't use a lot of it. My last vlog, I filmed a little like chit chat with my friend Vernon of over 30 years. I've known Vernon since I was in the 9th grade. I was 14 years old. I'm a couple months older than him. So my birthday's in April, his is in June. So I'm like 2 months older than him. And I always tell him, like, mind your elders, I'm older than you. Anywho, so I pick him up because he cuts my boy's hair. He's always have. And then I take him home. And then on our drive homes, we always have these like very serious, intense conversations. It's never planned. And it always has to do with like violence or fighting or whatever the case may be. It's just so weird. Even when like I dropped him off, I'm like, why do we always talk about this stuff? Like it's never planned, but we just talk about back in the day from 25 years ago when we were teens and in our late teens, early 20s, how dumb we were and just how times have changed and what we have learned. There's always a reason for our madness, a reason why we discuss these things. We're like, what were we thinking? We were so dumb, and how the world is now versus how it was in the 90s, you know? And so when you see it, you see like more graphics, like you don't see like me and him. Is because I took him home around 8 o'clock at night, and I have my windows are tinted, and so it was kind of dark and you really couldn't see him or me clearly. So what I did, I just like blacked it out and then just put graphics in, and next time will be better quality because plus I wanted you guys to really hear what we were talking. But I seen the comments that you guys like to see visual, see us and our expressions and our face expressions. But because you guys have never really met Vern, like as far as seeing his face, he's been in a few of my vlogs prior. I didn't want the quality to be so bad. You know, when the first time you meet him, I want you to really see what he looks like, if that makes sense. So. But I did hear what you guys saying. I just didn't want to scratch it and take it out because I did think they were pretty good conversations. All right, I have my car running because of course I have the air on. Let's get into this, but let's talk about. So you guys know I've told you that I'm currently going through a divorce. Me and my husband are separated. We are still legally married. And a lot of times I share my thoughts and opinions. I share what I experienced in our marriage, the good, the bad. It wasn't all bad, you know. I also, share like certain things. Nothing too personal on his behalf. Like I've never shared his name. I've never shared where he works at. I've never shared my stepchildren's names or anything like that. Never personal. Like you would never be able to find him unless you knew his name or Google him online. I mean, you've seen his face because he has been on my channels, both of my channels before. And he also has his own channel, which I'll get into. But you know, like, so I only kept it surface level of just my own experience. But this is also a lifestyle vlog channel that I give my personal life. And so I talk about my personal life. I talk about my own life, what I'm going through in my life, if that makes sense. Well, I had a few texts from a couple friends, and then I also had, I don't know how many DMs, at least between 35 to 50, no exaggeration, and a few emails from some of you guys. Like, did you know your husband put out a video? And I did not know. And I'm like, what? So he put a video out called Clickety BA, whatever that means, Clickety Bay, I guess clickbait, I don't know what it was. And he talked about me, my marriage, he talked about my children. It was like a 4-minute video. Now, I was going to react to it by playing his video and giving my side, because some of the things, like, he's not being very, like, clear about. But he unlisted it. He did not private it. He unlisted it. So if you have the link, you can still watch it. If I can find the link, I'll leave it in the description box. And also, he's also one that he'll probably strike my channel, because that's the type of stuff that he does. So, because he already unlisted it. So, so if you've seen it, you've seen it. But I wanted to talk about it because there was enough of you who have watched it. And I'm pissed. Especially when you bring up my kids. Back this thing up. Now, I'm not mad that he made a video, because he has every right to respond to videos that I've made about our marriage, and he has a right to give his side of the story. So I'm not upset about that. So he titles it Clickety BA, whatever BA means. I don't know what he was trying to say, because he was saying that, you know, like, I use his name as clickbait to get views and stuff. And he was talking about one of the videos when I said my marriage is over or something like that, and I had like 38 or 39,000 views. About how a lot of times I put him in the title and all that. And that is true. What YouTuber, let's be real, any social media influencer, I'm not an influencer, but you know what I mean, content creator, doesn't make videos for views. This is my main source of income. So of course, but it's not clickbait like I am talking about it, but of course, but I've never used like his real name. Mind you, his YouTube channel name is Mr. Justin. So who's really going on the back of somebody's coattail? And how that came about is because people would ask what his name is, and I would, you know, I would never say his name. And so then a lot of you guys would just say, oh, Mr. Justin, because a lot of times, there was a time on my beauty channel that every Thursday I would go live. And this is about 4 or 5 years ago. And a lot of times he'd come on my vlog as I was my live stream, or he'd be in the comments and people wanted to know his name. I get it. But for privacy reasons, I never shared his name, because I was friends with a particular YouTuber for only a few months, and it's a whole nother story. There was a lot of competition. This person wanted me to wait to put up videos so she can get the, it was just a lot of stuff. And then she put this like exposed video out on me. And prior to that, she was trying to look, because she knew my husband's name, she was looking him up to try to find things on him. And she told other people she was looking him up. And so from that, I didn't realize people do that. So from that point on, I was like, nope, I'm never saying his name. So when you guys would say, oh, well, Mr. Justin, he wanted to start a channel. I'm like, well, you should start a channel, you know. So he makes one. I did not know he was going to call it Mr. Justin. I thought he would maybe not say his name, but I don't know, healthy living. I don't know, call it something. But of course, he used my name to get this is when subscription boxes, like beauty boxes, were very popular, and I was getting 40-50,000 views, you know, each video. He used my name so people that, you know, if you look me up, or, you know, anybody that my subscribers that watch my videos, his channel will be recommended because I had my name in it. Okay. So who really was on somebody's coattail for views and stuff? Because he still has he didn't change the name of his YouTube channel. I'll get to the point in a second. I just want to start by that, because how he named it, and how the first thing he talked about literally was, I'm using him for views. Now, mind you, I told you before when I first started talking about it, how he texted me and said if I keep using his likeness, he was going to sue me. Remember I told you that? I'll leave that video down below where I talk about it. Now, he is considered a public figure. One, because he has a YouTube channel. And he's also been on my videos and different things like that. So, it's not like he's, you know, like if I was showing Tyler and talking about Tyler, like different things. That's different because Tyler's never really been on my channel or anything like that. My husband has. And my husband has his own YouTube channel name. I mean, YouTube channel. Now, I'm going to keep it real. The reason why his channel also kind of puts like a knife to my heart. We were having our marriage issues a few years ago. Do you guys remember I told you we broke up? Well, there's really no such thing breaking up in marriage, but we were separated. We were taking a little break for 3 weeks, only 3 weeks. He moved in with somebody. Yeah. And he knew this person. This was one of his ex-girlfriends from many, many years ago that I knew. Okay, we all knew. I worked with her in different things prior to this. Like, she knew about me. But they started talking because she was supposed to make a logo for him for his YouTube channel name. I don't even have a logo. I'm in the making of one, but at that time, I didn't even have a logo. You go from trying to get a logo for your YouTube channel when he never tried to help me get a logo before, to now you're sleeping with this person, living with this person, committing adultery, and he never even got a logo. So when it comes to his channel, even now, it's a touchy situation for us both, if that makes sense. I'm going to finish eating this because I think it's so rude me talking and then I'm talking with my mouth full. Let me finish eating this and then we'll get to the meat and potatoes of his video. Okay. I'm back. Now that I'm not going to be so rude. In case I didn't tell you, if I can find the link, I will link in the description box. You may want to watch his video first and then come back and watch this. It's like literally 3 to 4 minutes long. What my husband showed when he made that video, I'm so thankful he did. He showed how narcissistic he is. And like I said, I'll get to it. So he starts off by saying, in other words, I write off of his coattail for views and clicks. Of course I do. Hello. I want the people to know what I'm talking about to click my video. Never lied about that. He also shares how I embellish things. And you're right. Let's keep it 100. I do embellish. I embellished a lot of things, especially about my husband. 100% absolutely. He even made a video on his channel of what I got my wife for her birthday. And I even made a video, I talked about it or something like that. And he got me this iPhone. Now, let's keep it real. Yes, we went to the store. And he paid for the activation fee because where we go, you don't have to pay for like the whole phone out of pocket. You just have to pay for the activation fee. Okay? And that's what he did. I think it was like $128, $150 or less. But then every month after that, I paid for the phone because you have to pay the phone paid off. I paid it to where it was paid off. So, did you really get me the phone for my birthday, or you just paid the activation fee so that I can have a new phone? So, yeah, I embellished and said he got me the phone. Which, theory, yes, he paid the activation fee, but he didn't pay for the phone. I paid the monthly bill, the phone, and then, at the monthly fee that it costs to keep it connected. So, there were a lot of things I embellished to make him look good, and also I guess so I wouldn't be embarrassed. I said how good he was to me. He was good to me in the fact like I never had to carry anything. He never put his hands on me or anything like that. He has threatened to put his hands on me. The way that he talks to me, he never paid any money. He never paid any bills or anything like that. But of course, why would I share that? And one, make him look bad, and also make me look bad that I put up with that. So yeah, there are a few things I have embellished. Absolutely. Not like on purpose, but, to make him look better. Now, he also shared, he brings up my children. He talks about, oh, Isaiah deserves his black car. You guys know my car is black. So what he's trying to say is this isn't my car. Now, I've always shared this car is in my son's name. I don't even know why he's discussing this stuff. Yes, this car is in Isaiah's name. I like the car, so he gives it to me. Okay, so what? But why is that even being discussed? All right. He talks about Lexi deserves her new car. Why are you discussing my child when she got her car after you already left? Because it ain't like my kid's birthday was in July. You might have said happy birthday to them through a text. Did you call them and say happy birthday? No, you sent them a text. Did you get them anything for their birthday? A card or anything? No, because he never did. Never did before. Then he talks about Tyler. And he says how Tyler's a very good kid, blah, blah, blah. But then he goes to where Tyler don't have no job. He has a job, but he doesn't have a job. And he starts disrespecting my child. Now, you guys know him and my son didn't get along for different things. Why? Let's talk about this. When you met my son at the age of 16, well, any of my kids, you never tried to connect with my children. You wanted to come in and be father. When you got to get to know my kids didn't even have their fathers in their lives. So you can't come in acting like you're their father. I can't remember one time you ever took Tyler anywhere, ever, even just for a car ride, ever. I can't remember you ever telling Tyler you loved him, ever. If I'm lying, I'm crying. I'm telling you the truth. When we moved into my mother's house after they passed, it was a year. Now, mind you, Tyler had lived there, okay? When I moved in, my husband didn't move in with me. This is when we separated. And in 3 weeks, he moved in with that girl, okay? He lied to her, told her we were getting divorced, and we didn't even file paperwork or anything like that. I did not know he was moving on. I thought we were just taking a break, okay? News to me. Even when we were going to marriage counseling, he was still going back to her house when I thought he was going to his sister's house. Now, that's a whole nother story. So, about a year after that, he moves in. And now, mind you, when we went to marriage counseling, of course, I always paid the co-pays and everything like that. He never paid any bills. My son always gives me money. My son gives me $600 a month, and then every 3 months he gives me between $800 and $1,000, because that's when I pay the taxes, sewer, and water bill all together every 3 months. So he gives me a little bit extra. When other things, when I need help, if food or whatever, my son and my kids give me money. Why, all they would see is my husband sit on the dining room table playing his game or in these meetings, but never helping. So right from the door, Tyler's going to think of him. He's not going to think of him up here as a father figure. At first, he was thinking of man to man, because you didn't even know my child. Let's keep it real. He's never even bought my child anything. Not Christmas, birthdays, nothing, ever. And I put up with this. So yes, I am bad, because it's embarrassing. But then Tyler's looking at you like this. Then my husband wanted to be the man and wanted to have all this respect and lay the rules and authority. When they're looking at you like this, because if something was wrong with the house, he had great ideas. He would have people come over, give estimates and all that stuff. But then me and my children were responsible for the bills. So then how are my kids looking at you above you when they're doing what they think you should be doing, helping me, their mother and your wife? And then also the way that he talked to me. Now, mind you, he just lost my mother and grandmother. I'm speaking about Tyler. So I'm the only one he has in his life. Especially then you have somebody that you never established a relationship talking to me the way that you talk to me. Now, is my son right? The way that he would disrespect my husband, or they would disrespect each other? No, absolutely not. But let's put things in perspective. And by him making that video disrespecting my child, shows you he never really cared for my son. So you showed the real you, because if anybody embellished, it was you, because you would come on my videos and stare at me, say, oh, you're so beautiful, you look so good, oh. And I remember, do you remember, right after I would edit the video out and be like, stop it, because it looks fake. Because you didn't say that stuff to me in real life. You wanted to perceive yourself as this loving, oh, husband. And you loved the comments when the comments would say, oh, he's so sweet. When that wasn't him in real life. And it was too much. Okay, so let's keep it real. I have never and will never, ever disrespect his children. And the reason why I say my stepkids, because I look at them as my children, but that way you know the difference between my 3 kids and him. Like, so when I say my daughter, you don't think I'm talking about Lexi. But other than that, I look at them as my children, okay? I love my stepkids. I respect them, and I just don't have anything negative to say about them. I will never share their personal lives. I would never do that. Then he perceives in the video to talk about all the things he did for me. Mind you, he's never came out and called me a liar and said, oh, I paid these bills, I did this. No, what he said was, I helped save her life because she didn't take care of herself with the cancer and the heart attack. Ain't that what you're supposed to do in a marriage? Back in 2015, there was a mole on my back that I can't see because it's right above your bra, so you really can't see unless you hold a mirror to your mirror. You just can't see it, right? And I go to the dermatologist because I had this on my one eye. It was like this big bump, and it was getting bigger and bigger. And you guys know I'm vain. Not conceited, but I'm vain. So we go to the dermatologist, he goes with me, and I talk about this. So they removed it, and they looked at it to see if it was cancer or whatever. It was not. And then he says, can you look at my wife's back? And I remember looking at him like, be quiet. And as soon as she looked at it, the first thing she said was, does anybody in your family have melanoma? I never even heard of melanoma. So she takes it off, they do a biopsy, and it came back early stage 2 of melanoma skin cancer. It was early enough that they just had to operate, like get it all out. And then from there on, now it's like every year I just go get a chest x-ray and blood work just to make sure it hasn't came back or anything like that. And it's always been good. I have on my legs, they found like basal and all that. And with basal skin cancer, that kind of just stays on surface, right? The doctor told me, had this been 6 months later, you may not be in the same predicament. It's very aggressive. So yeah, so he talks about that when he says I saved my wife's life. Okay. So then he talks about the heart attack, and then he talks about how I don't take care of myself. I've always said, it's never been a lie, that I did not take care of my health. I still don't do everything I'm supposed to do, but I have been getting a lot better. And if you really care, talk about how you quit your job and how I don't have health insurance. Talk about how you couldn't even wait another 30 days to stay working, so that because in Jersey, school ends in June, the end of June. If you would have just stayed working, I would have had health insurance until December of this year. At least the whole summer. But no, you wanted to quit because that's what you do. You never wanted to work. Let's keep it real. And then he talks about how he pays he's always paid the taxes every year. See, this is where he embellishes. Let's talk about what he's talking about with the taxes. What he's talking about with YouTube doesn't take taxes out. Okay? So you have to, I forget where I put in like how much I pay for my subscription boxes, giveaways, all this other kind of stuff, right? To help me where I don't have to pay back so much. But with his job, they take taxes out. So because of that, if I just claim on my own, I'd be paying back a hell of a lot of money. But because he works and we do jointly and they take taxes out, is what helps us and what saves us. That's what he's talking about when he says he pays the taxes every year. He's not talking about the house taxes. He's not talking about anything else. He's not talking about what he pays out of pocket. He's talking about when we claim income tax, what you're supposed to do in a marriage, what you're supposed to do. See, this is what he did our whole marriage. He threw up stuff that he did, which this is what you're supposed to do. He will throw up in my face how it took him, I don't know how many weeks to clean up my mom's backyard, because where the fence is behind there, it wasn't like raked and leaves and all that in probably over 20 years. And it did. He worked very hard on it. He kept the yard up. Yes, he did. But you need to do something. He never paid out of pocket. He never paid the electric bill. He never paid the taxes on the house, the water bill. He's never paid food. Once in a great while, he might get like 20 pounds of chicken or get something here and there. Yes, but I'm talking about every month on a monthly thing. He's never, ever, ever came out of pocket. Never paid a cable bill. None of that stuff. Never. But he would throw in my face things. He would throw in my face when Isaiah was 6 years old, and when he met me, and when Isaiah was going to school. Isaiah didn't get a lot of sleep, and Isaiah acted out. And they were going to put Isaiah in these, like the behavior class. But because my husband works in education and different things and talked to them, they didn't do it. And, you know, then he did. When he met me, Isaiah slept in my room, and in my bed with me. Let's keep it real. He got Isaiah sleeping in his own room and stuff. Yes. But Isaiah's 19 now. You want to throw up what you've done how many years ago? But that's the stuff that he does. But if you notice, he never said, nope, Ann lied about this. He lied about this. I always kept my room clean. No, he doesn't talk like that. Because he knows I'm not lying. Anything I say, I am not lying. Yes, some things I did embellish when I wanted him to look good and different things like that. Absolutely. How dare you make a video and talk about my son and say, well, he works, but he doesn't have a job. And compared him to the show Martin, you know, where they say Tommy ain't got no job. Have you ever watched in the 90s, Martin? See, all you did, because I screen recorded it, all you did was help us with the lawyer. That's all you did. Because my kids have never went online and ever talked about him, and never would. My kids don't watch YouTube. And you know what? It's so messed up. Him and my son had this altercation, right? That we have to go to trial and all this kind of stuff. My son still talks very highly of him to this day. He makes excuses for him and say, because what my soon-to-be ex-husband didn't talk about is the day he made that video was the day we had to go to court. Okay? And he tells the prosecutors that he was shocked my son wasn't arrested, and he wants to see my son get a fine and have no contact order and all this other kind of stuff, and wanted to take a plea bargain, and my son did not. He's like, no, let's take it to trial. See, you forget, because you embellish. Why don't you talk about, out of all days, that's when you made that video, and all you did, because it shows on there what day you made that video, all you did was help us in the case. That's all you did. So thank you. I appreciate you. When you also talk very positive about him, it just shows that you have no fear. And let's talk about no contact. My son hasn't even tried to contact you. When you come with police escort, now it's 3 times, he stays in his room. Except for the first time, because we didn't even know you were coming or anything like that. Each time we didn't know you were coming. Well, the second time, yes. But the first time and the third time, we didn't even know you were coming. So let's just keep it 100. And you're so petty, you take a deep freezer, because yes, you paid for it, but you got it for the house. But see, this is what I'm saying, how narcissistic he is. He wants to about, I did this, and I did this, and I need to bow down, because if it wasn't for him I could have had cancer and died, and with this heart attack, and she didn't take care, and because of my insurance, when she had her heart attack, there was insurance, and it's like, what? What are you supposed to do in a marriage? Hence why I stayed with you so long, paying bills and different things like that, because you were my husband. And I don't believe in divorce. I do now. It's so sad, and I know it seems petty, me reacting to his video, but I was so hurt. I didn't even watch it when I first found it. I waited, because I thought, he did not. And I never thought he would bring up my kids, because my kids don't bring him up. My kids don't make videos on him. Why is he talking about my kids when I don't even talk about his kids? Like, what in the world is going on? Like, what? What? My son don't even talk bad about him, not even behind the scenes. Are you kidding me? So I know you're watching this video, and I just want to thank you. Thank you for making that video, because all you did was prove me right. how narcissistic you are, and how you like to throw in people's faces the things that you're supposed to do as a man and as a husband. So thank you. Thank you for talking about my children to show how you are, how you never loved or respected them. So thank you. I appreciate you. I don't know why you unlisted it. Why? Why did you unlist the video? Put it back up. Put your video back up so then I can react to it and show it on the screen and do a real reaction. Why don't you do that? Why don't you change your name instead of Mr. Just Dan and change it to a different name instead of using me for your coattail? Why don't you do that? Oh, guys, I am livid. I am so aggravated and disgusted that he would talk about my children. You're gross and disgusting. And you want to know contact? Well, how about you don't contact me? Stop texting me. Get those cars that don't even work out of my backyard. Do that, please. All right, I'm done. I'm going to stop talking about it because I know it's petty. If you guys are still here, leave a purple heart emoji in the comments. You're probably not even here, I know. Let me get my water. Because it's petty. But he made a public video, and I have every right to talk about it because, like I said, enough people contacted me, and I have every right to react to it. Just like he has a right to react to the videos I make, but all he ever just say was, I embellish. What did I embellish of? And prove that I was a liar. Prove that you paid the bills. Prove that you paid out-of-pocket things. Not that you had the health insurance. Not that you helped with income tax every year that you got in your pocket. Right? Talk about the things that I lied about, that you weren't a hoarder, that you didn't keep the house cluttered, that you did for my children, that you bought them birthdays, presents, and Christmas presents, and took them out and did things and established a relationship. Prove that I was a liar. Prove that you paid every month a bill. You can't, because I don't lie. I'm not lying. Let me throw this trash out. I'm sorry, guys. I am. Because it's very petty. I know it is, but I probably wouldn't have reacted if he didn't bring up my children and then disrespected my son. Who my son is the one who helped you. Because you did not help me financially, so my son took it upon himself to help me with bills and cover me and have my back. That's what you should be thanking. Instead of disrespecting him and saying he has a job but he doesn't have a job, and disrespecting him and laughing about it and then putting what you did in your description box. You need to be thankful, because if it wasn't for my son, our electric bill would have been turned off. I wouldn't have been able to pay for a lot of things. So why don't you thank my children? Because the husband who was living with me did not help. And I'm done for putting it up with it for 11 years. Because when you met me, I was living in the low-income apartments, in the projects where I was living. And you knew me that I was living there, because that's where I seen you again. I went to high school with this guy, and I didn't see you for many years. And you were over your mother-in-law's house, or they didn't know it was your mother-in-law, was a friend of mine. So you knew that I lived there. There was never no lying, okay, that I had 3 kids and living in the projects. And what did you do? You moved in with me. I didn't even ask you to move in. You just moved in. I should have known right then and there. You were a low life and depended on women and didn't do anything. So who wrote off of whose coat? You always wrote off of mine. Because you know what? I'm going to share one more thing. Let me throw this away. Hold on. Let me tell you how gross and disgusting he is. Or you are, because I know you're watching. So subsidized housing goes by your income, okay? Well, it went by my income because it was just me and my kids. My kids were younger. Of course, they didn't work or anything like that. So when I met him, I think I was paying like $442 a month, I want to say. And I was on food stamps. I had Medicaid. My kids had Medicaid. Let's keep it real. I wasn't on cash assistance. But I did get help as far as food stamps and stuff. I'm on the way driving to the trails. Well, we were only together for 9 months when we got married. And then after we get married, he wanted me to put his name on the lease, you know. And at first I didn't want to do it because, remember, he didn't help me with any bills. I even paid for my wedding ring. This is so embarrassing. I can't believe I'm saying it because now that I look at it, it's so friggin' embarrassing. But I was 36 years old, never been married. I love the fact that I was so excited to marry him. I did love him. And I wanted a wedding ring to show everybody I was married. Should have known. How embarrassing. But whatever. So after a while, I put him on. I put him on. First, he asked me, can he be on the top where it's like in his name? I'm like, no, they don't do that. I got the apartment because of me and my children. They're not going to take me off and put you on because then you wouldn't qualify. You don't have children, you know, because he didn't adopt my children legally, you know. And then I thought, and then we ever broke up, he can kick me out because that's his apartment. Even if they would not allow that, but let's just say they would. My mom didn't raise no fool. I should have seen everything in the beginning, but I didn't. So anyway, I put him on. Now, this is when I met him. He was just substitute teaching, and he had like little part-time jobs and stuff, which I don't care. He was trying and all that. He was waiting for an availability, all that kind of stuff. Okay, fine. But he had income. He's making more than me. My rent went up to like almost $1,000 a month living in the projects. $1,000 to live out there. We're going back in 2012. Well, this time because we got married in December, so 2013. Okay, that was a lot of money. This motherfucker almost pulled out in front of me. This white car. Do you know, not one time, I thought what he was going to do is cover, okay, so I paid for, let's just say my part was $500. They put an extra what, $500, let's just say, from his income. So I thought he would pay the difference. He never paid. I couldn't even pay that because I wasn't even bringing that much home a month. Do you know they almost padlocked the apartment? And he still wasn't trying to help me. We were getting ready to get, there was many times I got eviction notices, but I was able somehow to get the money up to pay it off. Until it was like Tuesday, and they were getting ready to padlock it on Friday. Because we went to court, all that kind of stuff. I begged him, please, it's because you want to have your name on there. Help me. He says, I can't, because he was paying for storage. He had a car payment. He wanted to get this brand new car and insurance. That when he got this car, I didn't even go with him. I didn't even know he was getting a car. He comes home with a car. Okay? Guess who helped me? My son and my mother is the one who gave me the money to pay it off. And I paid it, and everything was fine. Then that's when I took him off the lease. He had a P.O. box in another city, so I gave him that address. And I lied and said we were separated. And they took his name off, and it went back, and I could afford it. But even then, I almost got put out behind him because he wanted this, I'm the man, and I want to be on the lease, and all this kind of stuff because he wanted this control, but he didn't want to help pay. I still stayed with him because I wanted to be married. Yep, I almost lost everything because of him. Yeah. Every time we almost got evicted when we lived there, he never once helped to help me out of it. I always found a way because he knew that I would. And it was all because of him, because he would not help me with bills. Guys, I'm so mad, and I know this sounds so petty. And I know, as I'm talking about it, it's petty. And this is personal stuff that should be personal. I get it. But he made this public when he made this video, bringing my kids up, talking about them. Out of his mouth, my kids. We're going through all of this. He said, this is the state versus her son. No. I had to call the cop. Let's talk about this. The reason why I had to call the cops and I never called the cops, because you had your hands wrapped around my son. You were physically on top of my son, and my son was screaming, "I can't breathe." Okay? When the cops came, they found you on top of my child. Okay? And because of a lie you told, my son gets arrested. We could have had you arrested. We could have, but we don't do that. My son was like, "Mom, no, I don't want to do that." When we went to, when we were at the police station, they asked, "Do you want to press charges?" I said no. My son said no, even though you did all this. Otherwise, if you would have just shut the fuck up when the cops came and it just all together, it would have went. It would have, or if you would have just got off of my son and left, it would have been done with. But I said, I'm calling her. She said, call him. You wanted this to happen. Then you put a restraining order on my child where he couldn't be there for 2 weeks till we went to court. Then you tried to put one on me so that I would get put out of my own mother and grandmother's house. What? Because you tried to take an apartment when I lived in subsidized housing. You were trying to take my mother's house. Let's talk about it. Let's really talk about it. All these times we had to go to court, all you had to do was not show up, and they would have dropped the charges. But you continue to show up, and this last time, what did you do? You said you wanted to see him arrested. You were shocked that he was not arrested, and you want to see him charged, and all this kind of stuff. Let's keep it real. What son, what father that truly and then you make this video putting my son down saying, "Oh, he's like Martin, like Tommy. He got a job, but he don't have a job." How dare you? How dare you? And thank you, like I said, because all you did was show people who you really are and what you're about. You did that. You just proved me right. And the whole thing is so sad. It's sad. And it makes me want to cry. Because we could have ended this marriage civilly. But no, you didn't want to do that. You didn't want to leave. Because a week prior to this, guys, this happened at the beginning of March. February 22nd, something happened in his life that he couldn't afford and he lost. He took it out on me. Because my kids wouldn't help him pay for it to keep it. Remember, he goes to my kids. And Isaiah's 18. Isaiah already helped him before. Gave him what? Over $1,200 at an 18-year-old kid. Because he couldn't do this. And you take it out on me. And you did divorce where I was hiding in my kid's room. And you're knocking. And I'm begging you, leave me alone, because I didn't want Tyler here. Tyler was home. Because I knew you guys would get into it. You didn't care. You took it out on me, something that you lost. Because you couldn't afford it. I don't know what you're doing with your money. So, you printed out divorce papers that you filled out. He didn't file them, but he said, "Here, you're served." And I said, "Well, get the fuck out then. Get out." You said, "Give you a week." How convenient. In March, first week of March, you picked this argument when you knew my son had just woken up and all this and that, and you egged it on. You did this because you wanted something to happen. Hence why the cops and everything got involved. Because he's ignorant, he's narcissistic, and he's just mean, downright mean. And he never liked my son because my son stood up for him. He did not like that. He wanted my son to get put out because he didn't like the fact that now finally I have somebody sticking up for me because I embellished to my mother and grandmother who were alive how good he was and how good he treated me. I lied. So he didn't look bad. You were able to talk to me and treat me and threaten me that you'd put your hands on me and beat me like a bitch in the street. Let's keep it real. Okay? And my son wasn't having it. He wasn't having it. And you didn't like it. So you thought if my son was out of the picture, what, we'd be okay? I'm supposed to keep putting up with a man that's already been with for 11 years? Not paying any bills or paying their way? Because they rake the yard and cut the grass once a month? That's what I'm supposed to put up with. Because you have so many great ideas, but then want us to pay for it. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. Anytime you got invited to barbecues and all that, you never invited me or my children. When have me and my children ever went? Because you never invited us. You would just go. You would just leave. Because you didn't want us around. Why? So you couldn't be yourself and flirt and all that other kind of stuff. Let's keep it real. The adultery, the inappropriateness you had in our whole marriage. Like, you want me to, yes, I embellished. Absolutely. But you want me to come clean? Let's come clean. I'm going to come clean. Because that's what you want. You put this video out. You did this. Go ahead, put another one out. Go ahead. And let me react to it. Unlist this video so I can react to it. Please. Alright, I'm going to take a moment off and calm down. And I'll come back when I get to the trails. I'll be back. Forgive me, guys. Alright, I'm here. I have the camera flipped around because the way that I'm sitting with the sun and everything, you wouldn't really be able to see me. So I'm just going to say my goodbyes. Since this video is already long, I'm going to start a new vlog. When I do my little walk and talk in the trails, it'll be a much positive video. And so that'll be the next video if you're interested. But let me say my goodbyes. Again, I just wanted to get that out. I had so many people reach out to me. It's like, let me just say something and make a video. And I don't know. You guys know how I am. When I start venting or going on a rant, you guys know how I am. I can't help it. But anyway, please like this video. It really does help me out, or dislike it. That helps me out as well. Make sure you leave a comment. Commenting really does help out with engagement, even if it's just an emoji. And that's everything, guys. Stay beautiful, stay blessed, stay healthy, and most importantly, always stay you no matter what. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys. That was a hot mess, but that's all right. Makeup is what helps me. Let's put this lip gloss on. I feel better already. Yes, I do.